All right, guys. Carl here from the Stogie Lads, trying out a new little, this is just for fun type video. This trend has been around for a long time. Very late to the party, of course. But this is the tier maker thing that's been a huge thing on YouTube, and I thought it would be fun to do it with Cuban cigar brands. Right? There's so many around. They're so differently run from each other. So it would be fun to just break down, my personal thoughts on each brand and how I think Habanos have run it and like how well esteemed the brand is. So we have all 27 brands of Habanos here in their portfolio on the screen, and then we've got 5 tiers here. So S is obviously like the creme de la creme, so only the best of the best. A is very, very good, I'd say. B is average. Yeah, straight down the middle. C is pretty bad, and then D is a complete failure. So yeah, I mean, this is just going to be personal opinion. Obviously, some people might hold some brands a lot higher than me, and some might think I'm crazy putting some very high. But we'll see. I'm going to jump into it here. I don't really know what order they went for here with the pictures. I just put in all the pictures, and then this is how they went. So the first one we have is El Rey del Mundo. So this is a hard start, right? Because I need to set the benchmark. El Rey del Mundo, I'd say, is a decent brand, right? Because, okay, they only have the 2 cigars in their Vitola, which I think is a huge shame. But the ones they have, the Choix Supreme is a great cigar. It's a Robusto. It's kind of mild, some citrus, some cream, some coffee. It's a great cigar. I got to put El Rey del Mundo in C, just mainly because they don't have any cigars anymore, barely. They get some regionals every once in a while that have been decent, but much more than that, you can't really say. It's a shame they don't have more cigars. That's what I'm saying. And then the other one they have is a Demitas, which is basically a cigarillo, a cigarillo. So can't really say too much. I mean, I can't put El Rey del Mundo higher than that, although I do love the Choix Supreme. Next up, Diplomaticos. Okay, this is another nice brand with only one Vitola again. So this is a poorly run brand again from Habanos, and this one's gonna have to be pretty low as well. The one they do have though is almost legendary now within like the aficionado sort of circle. It's the Diplomaticos number 2, which is a fantastic cigar, but that's the only Vitola. I mean, if you have one regular production, and then they do get regionals, and some regionals have been very good. I have the Netherlands one in my humidor. I have a couple of those. But I got to put Diplomaticos at a C as well. The whole story of how it was conceived too was meant to be like a copy of Monte Cristo. They just mirrored their brands, so I got to put it at a C. Next up, Juan Lopez, another brand, 2 Vitolas. The number 1 is one of my favorites. It's a Corona Gorda. The number 2 is very good too. We're starting out low, but I gotta put Juan Lopez at C as well. Actually, no, I'm gonna bump it up at B. It's average because it's got two Vitolas, but they're good. And this number 1 in my opinion is excellent. Cuaba. Now this is a very interesting one. Cuaba is unique. It's very unique. If you don't know, they only make figurados. It was conceived in like 1997 or 1998 or 9, one of the last years in the 90s. It hasn't been around too long. It doesn't have too many Vitolas. I think 3 or 4. They're all figurados though, which is like a cool homage to the past, but they don't have any like regionals. They never get any limited editions. It's kind of on the cusp. It's kind of forgotten about, and their quality's been trending down recently. So I gotta put Cuaba as a C as well. I just have to. I like the thought of the brand, but it's not perfect execution. Honestly, they're just not that great. La Gloria Cubana. This one is another tough one. They have one. You know what? I'm just gonna go out on a limb. This is a D for me. This is the lowest not because of my opinion of the brand, because I've had their cigars before and they're great. The Medaille d'Or number 4 is the only one they have left in their portfolio, but it hasn't been made in a few years. I'm not even sure if it's been discontinued. I also have some regionals of theirs, some Belux regionals, I believe, or Países Bajos maybe. I can't remember now, but they just don't rarely make any cigars, and Habanos has slaughtered it. I don't know why the brand is just forgotten about like this, but Habanos don't give a shit about La Gloria Cubana, so D for me. Okay, finally we get a nice brand. Bolivar is a straight A. It's got to be an A. They only have they have like 4 Vitolans, I think. One of their like Petit Coronas got discontinued recently, but they do have a few. But two of them are legendary. The Belicosos Finos, the Torpedo, like the Belicoso one, is one of the best Cuban cigars in the world around in regular production. And their Royal Coronas, which are these Robustos, are one of the best Robustos out of Cuba as well, in my opinion. Really underrated. So I got to put Bolivar as an A. It's a great brand. And they get great regionals too every once in a while. Some La Casa de la Mano exclusives. The Libertador is one I have. So Bolivar is an A. Okay, I see what's next here. It is Cohiba itself. This is tough because in a way, Cohiba should be an S. They have so many Vitolas that have been around for a long time. It is the flagship, but they are so expensive too for what you get. But if you do smoke them properly and age them, it is an S. I mean, Cohiba, with the potential that brand has, you can buy any of the Cohiba Vitolas pretty much. If you age them properly, they're going to be fantastic. They're so consistent too in the rolling compared to other brands. Cohiba has to be S. And yeah, Cohiba is pure class. Fonseca, also a little bit forgotten about. This is a brand that has a lot of short filler stuff. God, this is tough because they have had some regionals, but barely any. I'm going to have to put Fonseca as a D. This is a poorly run brand. They have one called Number One, which are like real, like pretty big cigars that are hand rolled, but they're almost out of stock all the time. We don't get them at all here in Sweden. The ones we get are the Delicias, the Petit Coronas, the Minutos, that are short filler, and they're just average cigars, very light and short filler, so nothing too good. I got to put it at D. Habanos don't do Fonseca justice, although I do love the paper wrapping that they do around them. All right, next up, Hoy de Monterrey. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to put Hoy de Monterrey as an A. I'm going to put it as an A. The Epicure number 2 is a legendary cigar. The Epicure number 1 is really good as well. They have tons of releases all the time. But personally, I just don't think it's quite up there as an S. They do have like a vast variety. They even have some cheaper cigars like the Palmas Extra that I love. If I rank it in order, I'll put Hoy de Monterrey there because they have so many different good cigars. The Epicure number 2 is legendary. Jose el Piedra, another short filler. But I'm going to factor everything in. I'm going to put it as a B. And this isn't a quality rating, okay? Like, okay, I'd obviously rather smoke a Diplomaticos number 2 over any Jose el Piedra 200 times a week, you know? Like, it's not even remotely comparable, but Jose el Piedra is a brand that Habanos actually focuses a lot on. They had a little bit of a rehaul recently with, like, the design and stuff, and they're short filler, and they're very, very cheap, but they know what they are, and Habanos focuses on them. They're available everywhere, and they're fantastic. If I'm out fishing or something, I'll buy Cazadores, and I'll just have them, not care about it. They have like a more powerful flavor than a lot of the Fonseca ones that are pretty shit in my opinion. So JLP is a solid B because it is what it is, but it is good for what it is. La Flor de Cano, yeah, this is another D. They only have the one Vitola left. It's the Petit Coronas. They are cedar wrapped. Another like Fonseca, pretty cool like way they run the brand in that way, but it's just not well made and they don't care about the brand enough. It has had some regionals too, but not too many. And I think they had like a Spanish one that was really overproduced and that everyone could get their hands on. It's not consistent enough. I do like the Cano Petit Coronas for what they are, but this is not a great brand. It's not well run enough, and they just lost the Selectos, was the one of the 2 last Vitolas around, and they discontinued them, so they only have one Vitola. You can't give them too much praise. Monte Cristo. This is a weird one because Monte Cristo has a lot of nice cigars, but they don't have the widest spectrum. I'm going to stick it at the highest part of the B. The number 2 is one of the best cigars in the world. The Monte Cristo number 2, everyone knows that, Torpedo. The number 4 is great. Then they have some weird ones. Like they have the short tubos, which are basically just Petit Coronas as well. And I don't really know. No one really knows what the difference between those and the number 4s are. Just weird. And then they have some pretty inconsistent. Like I've had a lot of double Mundos that have been really inconsistent. Monte Cristo is kind of overproduced in my opinion since it's such a big name. And I'm not a huge lover of their flavor profile. I like their cocoa that they have a lot in their cigars, but a little bit too inconsistent because they're so famous. I think Monte Cristo is just very good, but it's not excellent. So I'm going to put it at B. Partagas, That's an easy A for me. The PSD4 is a legendary cigar. All their like Serie D or the series, I should say, the Serie P, the Serie D, the Serie E, all those cigars are very, very, very good. They even have some cheap ones like the Mille Fleurs that are fantastic for the price, that are great value cigars. So they have a huge variety, and then they have like at the top of the chain, right? They have the Lusitanias, the double Coronas, which are absolutely legendary cigars. So I think Partagas, they cover so many bases. It's almost always fantastic quality, a lot of nice flavor. So you got to put it at an A. You got to do it. Por la Rañaga, easy B for me. They also don't have too many cigars. They have 3 in their range right now. The Monte Carlos I love for the price. I did a spotlight on it on our stories. It's a great price cigar. Then they have the Petit Coronas as well, which are fantastic, like caramel bomb, really good cigars, really. And the Por la Rañaga get regional editions sometimes. They get like UK ones every once in a while that are very, very good, I've heard. I haven't had them, I'm not going to lie, but Por la Rañaga, the cigars that they do have are very, very nice. I like the brand. It's the oldest Cuban brand. I'm glad they're still focusing on it, so I'm going to stick it there. Punch. Punch for me is going to be a C, and if I'm going to rank it, I'm going to stick it there. Punch has a few cigars. For me, Punch is just so, like, it's easy for me to just forget them because they have some decent cigars. I've had the Petit Coronations, I liked it. I've had the Coronations, liked it. I've had the Double Corona, I liked it, but none of them have ever been mind-blowing. They have a little bit of like baker's spice in them. They're just like medium bodied. They're almost kind of forgettable sometimes. I've just never been mind blown by a Punch, but I've always sort of enjoyed them. I have their limited edition 2017 one in my humidor, which got bad reviews. So I'm not sure how that's going to be. I'm still aging it since it's not that old, but Punch, yeah, it's not bad, but it's not, it's just kind of forgettable. So I'm going to stick it there and see. Quai d'Orsay. Oof. Quai d'Orsay in a normal English accent. Oof, that's very tough. That is very, very tough. They've had such a renaissance. They got a reboot, a relaunch a few years ago. They were very forgettable before, but now they're so good. I'm gonna stick them in A for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it there. Those other brands are too iconic. Their number 50 is so good. Their 54 has got even better reviews everywhere. Everyone's crazy about Quai d'Orsay. Their 2019 limited edition, the Senadores that dropped, is so well received. They've just got such a nice rebrand. The cigars are amazing. They were sold out everywhere when they relaunched. Everyone was crazy about Quai d'Orsay. Everyone wanted their cigars, and they really delivered. They're fantastic, so I'm going to keep it up there. Well done, Habanos, because you really nailed it with the rebrand. Quintero. Yeah, oof. I'm gonna stick it at the lowest C. Their favoritos are pretty like well received. They're pretty decent for being short filler. They're all short filler as well. They have quite a lot of cigars, which is nice. They're also very forgettable though. They're just simple. The favoritos that I had was pretty bad, but Habanos did like redesign their bands and stuff, so it looks like they do kind of want the brand to stick around, and they are focusing on it. So I'm gonna keep it at the lowest C. Yeah, they're at least trying, right? But those are very forgettable short filler cigars. They have decent flavor, but nothing too much. Rafael Gonzalez. I'm going to put it in the middle of C as well. It's not great. They have had some nice regional editions. I have the Nordic North Stars that they made for the Nordic market, which are fantastic. Their Petit Coronas are very like just decent Petit Coronas. Their Perlas I had 2 years ago all winter. I had a bunch of them. They were very nice, but those are just simple short smokes for the winter. They don't have any crazy good regular production cigars, so I'm not going to put them very high, even though they do get nice regionals. This is sort of in the same I'm going to put Diplomaticos higher just because the number 2 is a little bit better. Rafael Gonzalez, they're normal. There, I think it belongs. Their normal production is decent, nothing better. Ramon Allones. I'm going to stick that in the highest part of B. I guess B is supposed to be average, right? I think, yeah, I don't know. This is a ranking. Maybe I'm not really doing it too well. Maybe I'm being pretty critical, but I do think Habanos could do a lot better with how they run their company. But Ramonayones is very nice. I love the specially selected. The small club Coronas are fantastic. I have their Gigantes, the double Corona I haven't smoked. They're still aging. Ramonayones also had a 2019 limited edition. It was a torpedo. Great, great reviews. I've heard amazing things about that. So Ramonayones have smashed it. Their cigars are just fantastic. The specially selected is one of my favorite Robustos out of Cuba of all time. So I'm going to stick that right there. Romeo Julieta. For me, I'm going to stick it in the middle of B as well. That is exactly what Romeo Julieta is for me. It is straight down the middle. I never have their cigars and think they're bad, but I haven't been crazy mind blown either. The Churchill is good. It is a very good cigar. It is iconic. The short Churchill I've been happy with, but like a lot of their Petit Coronas, they have so many cigars too, and several cigars that are the same size as each other, so it's hard to keep track of what is what really and like understand the differences. But they're like Millefleur is good for the price. I've had their new Club Kings in the retro tins, decent as well. Pretty woody profile in Romeo Julieta, something that I don't love. So I think it's just a very bog standard, good Cuban brand. It's right in the middle. Never be disappointed, but I'm not very, very mind blown either. St. Luis Rey. This is another thing. I'm going to stick it in the same category here as La Gloria Cubana. There's just one Vitola left. It's the Regios. It's a weird cigar that's barely available anywhere. It's kind of like, it's completely out in the dark. It's decent, but I think it's extremely inconsistent because some people say it's a hugely full-bodied cigar. Some people say it's very light. Me and Ruben did a review on YouTube. You can check out after this video if you want. We found it very light. Some reviews online say it's a very, very heavy cigar. I just don't know what they're doing with it. I don't know how much they care about this brand, how much they do quality control. They do get the odd regional edition every once in a while as well, but I just feel like they have completely like not given a shit about St. Luis Rey. And I'm always frustrated when Habanos leave one Vitola, because it feels like they're just leaving it there so the brand can keep existing, so they can make regional editions and like limited edition cigars every once in a while and not have to give a shit, because I feel like the St. Luis Rey is just kind of forgotten about. But the Regios is a good cigar, but I'm just protesting on Habanos how they run it. San Cristobal de La Habana. I'm tempted to put that in A. I might do that. I do like a lot of their cigars. El Príncipe is one of my favorite Petit Coronas. It's got a lot of like bready and honey notes. I do really like this brand. They have some La Casa de Habano exclusives and stuff. Their La Punta, I think, is a small torpedo that's released that is extremely loved by the community. I've had all San Cristobal Habanas Vitolas. I always really like them. They're great for the flavor profile, a little bit lighter, creamy, a lot of sweetness. I do really like that brand. And it's not completely given up on. Habanos do special edition stuff with it. Sancho Panza. Lower B. I'll put it under Juan Lopez for me. I think it's decent. But another one with only one Vitola. So I guess I'll punch it down here because they only have the Belicosos left. They have this very unique flavor profile with a lot of baker spices, and it's like a little bit funky. It's good though. I have one of their regional editions too for Belux. It's like a figurado. I haven't smoked it though, also aging. But Sancho Panza only has one Vitola available. The Non Plus is still available. I do have a bunch of them. I bought a bunch of them because they got discontinued like last year. But they just have one Vitola. Even though I like the brand and the design and all the history and stuff, Habanos just don't give a shit about it anymore. And I really don't like the way they're treating a lot of their brands. I just realized H. Upmann isn't on here for some reason, which is a shame. Which is a huge shame. I'm not sure if I can add it, but so let me put H. Upmann at S because that's my favorite brand out of all. I don't know why. Huge fail. But H. Upmann is an S. Just imagine it right there. It is my favorite brand of all, pretty much across the board. I really love their flavor profile. The half Coronas are amazing. The Sir Winstons are legendary cigars. And then they've got their Magnum series. Amazing stuff. They get tons of great like limited edition special release cigars, which are fantastic. So I'm going to put that at S. And another S brand that I'm sticking there. So imagine H. Upmann is right here after Trinidad. Trinidad, another amazing one. They have so many new Vitolas now because the brand is amazing. Like I always talk about it and say that it's almost Cohiba's little brother. Trinidad is like the next highest quality. Like across the board, they're always rolled very well, almost. It's very, very good quality in general. They focus on making that sort of a luxury, but it's priced very well. And almost all of their cigars, the Reyes is one of my favorite Petit Coronas as well. Amazing cigar. I had the Coloniales a few days ago. Amazing cigar as well. The Vigia is so loved. They get great limited edition cigars. It's just an amazing brand. Trinidad has risen up so much. The Fundadores, the Lanceros, those are also amazing. Vegas Robaina, I'll put that there because Habanos are clearly, this is a political move. Don Alejandro Robaina, if you don't know, is the namesake of he was one of the most legendary tobacco growers. He passed away 15 years ago or something. I think that brand was launched in 1997. They had a bunch of Vitolas, and then slowly after his passing, they've just taken them away slowly. They took away the Vitola called Don Alejandro, named after him, which was a double Corona, and I feel like that's just not a classy move. Habanos, come on, taking away his cigar after his passing, not a good move. I do really like their cigars that they have in their Vitola now, though, and they do get like a regional every once in a while, but Habanos have just not cared about this brand, and it seems pretty clearly like they want to phase it out slowly. That's the signals they're sending, so I'm going to put it low there because I don't like the way you're treating it, Habanos. Last and maybe not least, but mid C. Vegueros is decent. They make more budget cigars as well, but they're all long filler and handmade. But they're kind of powerful. They can be a little rough, but they have very decent ones. Like the Mañanitas is a nice short smoke for the price, and a cool Vitola. Like the Vitolas are pretty unique that they have that none other do. So I think they're decent, but they're just not fantastic. Vegueros it is what it is with the price, but it's not something that I really reach for very often. So there you have it. H. Upmann is right there as well. I genuinely don't know what the hell happened to it. But there you have it. Okay, so Cohiba, Trinidad, and Upmann are the S tiers. Then you got some classics in the A. Not a lot of surprises. Maybe San Cristobal surprised some. Ramon Ayones leading B. Monte Cristo people might think is too low. A lot of the stuff speaks for itself. But yeah, let me know, guys. I think I'm going to look, if it is in the description, then I will put it there, like that you can make the same list with my template. Otherwise, let me know in the comments what I did wrong, what you guys hate about my list, because there's going to be a lot of people that think it's awful. And I hope you guys enjoyed this like very different video from what we usually do. I'll see you guys in the next one, guys. Cheers.